Hello, my name's Sarah Waterman, and I'm the Apprenticeship and Work Experience Manager at the Royal Ballet and Opera. I always like to start a presentation with this screen that shows you that technicians, electricians, wig makers, engineers, tailors, metal workers, all sorts of people make ballet and opera, not just opera singers and ballet dancers, designers and directors. So I'm going to talk to you about theatre careers in general, but I always like to use this image of Alice in our ballet, in the Royal Ballet's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, of Alice in this hall of doors because she doesn't know which door to choose. There are so many doors and there are so many opportunities laid out for you to choose, and it can be really confusing. It's really important to know that you don't have to just choose one door, that the decisions that you make now aren't permanent, and that you can choose to come in and out of various doors in that corridor of doors, and then you can add skills and experiences to your locker, if you like, carry it around in your bag of skills and take it to new jobs. Because creativity sells in our country, in Britain, 1 in 8 UK businesses are creative businesses, and there is a host of different career opportunities in all sorts of creative areas, but particularly in the music and performing visual arts, and that's what I'm talking about today, ballet and opera. So I really want to bust myths that people think that creative industries aren't viable careers, aren't secure careers, but they are lucrative careers. They can be. And people also don't realise that technical, engineering, craft, financial, administrative, and IT roles are routes that you can transfer skills from or to the theatre industry. Other things like legal, marketing, cybersecurity, we need all of those skilled people in theatre businesses. You might hear this term, portfolio career. Self-employed workers make up 28% of the cultural and creative industries workforce in the UK. But that's what I was talking about, that hall of doors where you collect the skills as you go through your career. But the important thing to remember is you can't be what you can't see. And so hopefully I'm just going to open up some of those possibilities today. Here is a dancer on the stage, and I wonder if you can think about how many careers are associated just with getting that dancer to that performance moment on the stage where we've captured her. First of all, let's say photographer, but also off the top of my head, I listed some. So choreographer, personal trainer, class teacher, physiotherapist, costume designer, dye technician, costume maker, shoemaker, wig maker, makeup artist, dresser, costume performance technician, set designer, production manager, scenic drafting team, scenic construction team, scenic artists, I'm running out of breath, scenic build crew, stage duty crew, flies operators, lighting designers, lighting visualizers, lighting operators, projection operators, stage management team, conductor, orchestra, there's loads. And that, well, we haven't really talked about all the front of house support and all the people that supported that dancer in her job, HR roles, legal roles, financial roles, IT that promoted the show and the promotion of the show, the marketing team. So that's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about. So we're the Royal Ballet and Opera. Our main home is the Royal Opera House in central London in Covent Garden. You may have been to the building or been in the building or seen it from the outside, but the building itself is quite iconic. There's been a theatre here since the 1700s, but the current theatre facade and the auditorium area is from 1858. We're home to the Royal Ballet and the Royal Opera, funnily enough, and we're also home to the orchestra of the Royal Opera House and the chorus of the Royal Opera. They're the sort of main creative and artistic companies. We're a house of stories. If you're not familiar with, or you find opera or ballet a little bit sort of alienating, essentially they're just good stories told through stagecraft and through dance or through singing and music. So a huge job of the Opera House is to recreate those stories visually on the stage. This stage that you can see behind me looks like that on the outside, this very lavish 1858 auditorium, lots of plush velvet and gilt. And here's the beautiful proscenium arch. But this is the space I'm really interested in. Behind that proscenium arch, where the magic for me happens, where teams of people keep the stage running every day to show cycles of ballet and opera. So you can see it's a not quite so glamorous space. It's a working space. We are a repertory company, which means that we don't have one static production on the stage all the time, like perhaps the West End Theatre might do. We have a cycle of ballet and opera, new pieces that we make every year, and some that we bring back, that we revive. So our oldest production is Romeo and Juliet, which is rehearsing on the stage at the moment. And then our newest production is Feston, that has just come straight from the workshops and performed. So most productions, we have about 400 performances a year, and the stage turns around twice a day. So what that means is that something that will be rehearsing in the morning, a full set, full lighting rig, potentially orchestra, depends on what stage of the rehearsal it's at about now 2:30, the stage crew swarm onto the stage and they de-rig all the lights, they take down all the scenery, and the brilliant thing is our stage moves like a sort of like one of those puzzle games that you might get in a cracker, where you move the squares around to form a picture. So the one square can slide out, so our whole stage moves, slides out, and then they slide in the whole new set for the evening performances, and then the lights are re-rigged, refocused, and everything's prepared for the audience around 7:30. So it's a hive of activity 7 days a week. But a production starts its life in our workshops in Purfleet-on-Thames in Essex, if you're familiar with it, down towards Southend, where many skilled people build and paint the sets for every production. So we have carpenters, metalworkers, draftspeople, and scenic artists working there. And this is the scenic art space, a huge, great big purpose-built space, which is wonderful. And once a set is built, it's all packed up into one of these red lorries you might see, and it comes up to Covent Garden, which is, about half an hour up the road from Purfleet. And then the lorries jackknife into a big lift, and then the set pieces are taken at the back and put back together to appear on the stage. So it's a bit like a flat pack when it comes here. We employ over 1,000 permanent members of staff. So you can see from this list, most of the departments are represented here, from the Chief Exec Office to Visitor Experience, that look after our customers and give tours, and ushers and front of house managers. Obviously, we employ directors, choreographers, musical arrangers, conductors, dancers, opera singers, actors and chorus members, and a huge orchestra. But there are also so many roles that you might not know about in the technical production and costume department, because we make everything ourselves, from a headpiece, the tiara on the ballet dancer's head, to the shoes that the opera singer is wearing, is made in-house. Costumes, props, and scenery, hats, jewellery. So we have construction jobs. We have jobs for drafters and planners. So if you're interested in architectural drawing, AutoCAD, those sorts of skills, we definitely have roles for you. We also employ metal workers that create the structures of the sets, the support structures, and then carpenters that clad the scenery, and scenic artists, as I mentioned, who make the scenery look fantastic. And all work together to recreate the designer's vision. And then on the stage, we have loads of roles, very technical, so electrical roles and engineering style roles, everything from lighting through to flies and automation. So flies are anything that moves up and down in our huge fly tower. So there's pieces of scenery that move up and down, and the lighting bars that move up and down. And then we also have a running props team, so they look after the in-play props. And this is up looking down onto the stage from the fly tower, so you can see what a huge height it is. Then in costume, we have a huge amount of production roles, everything from buying the appropriate fabrics, dyeing them and printing them, through to all the making rooms that make the different styles of clothing. And then we have a revivals workroom where we bring back the previous productions that are going to come back to a stage, and the costumes are refitted to different performers and they are spruced up and revived. And then we also have like in play jobs, where we're looking after the performers on the stage, so dressers, wardrobe supervisors. And then we have a huge props department. It's like an Aladdin's cave in the attic at the top of the building on level 7 of our building, where prop makers are skilled in everything from moulding and casting, like doing intricate work, like making real life looking food, like this prop maker is in the picture, through to an armory where they make, sort of armor plating and sort of leatherware that supports swords, and where they look after our huge weaponry, as you can see here, that's used in ballets and operas. And then we have a model room, which is really the start of the process, where we have production managers who oversee a whole production process, and they hold the budget and they sort of run the schedule of the making of a production from the idea in a director and designer's head through to it opening on the stage. And some of those production managers manage our productions going all over the world as well. So we have drafting and planning as well, like a huge drafting team that create the drawings that the sets are built from, and a model making team and production administrators. And I haven't even mentioned the stage management team in general as well. So there's lots of skills there. The stage managers look after a production in rehearsals through to the stage and then run the production on the night. I would say the most important person on the night of a show, there's two important people. There's a conductor and there's the stage manager running, the assistant stage manager running the show. Actually, the other important person is the front of house manager, who's in charge of looking after the 2,000 people that come and sit in the auditorium. So there are lots of different training paths into a career in theatre. There isn't one fixed route for any of those careers I've mentioned. There's everything from specialist degree courses that you could take at drama schools or universities, which might be in something like stage management. Then you could take a specialist BTEC or T-level route. There are also apprenticeships, which is where I come in, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. And you might just fall in by doing some voluntary work, working with local Amdram or theatre societies, and get involved and hone your skills that way. Creative apprenticeships are brilliant because you can earn while you learn, which is fantastic. So we have currently 25 apprentices at the Royal Opera House, doing everything from being stage technician apprentices, which is Holly here, through to social media apprentices, which is Tom here. You can have a full-time job and get a qualification alongside it. And most of the qualifications, well, I would say all of them, apart from very specialised ones, are transferable. So Tom doesn't have to work in theatre marketing as a social media apprentice or content producer. He could go and work anywhere he wanted to. You're work ready as soon as you finish an apprenticeship. So if you want to find out more about apprenticeships, you can go through UCAS and find out the Institute for Apprenticeships. That's called IFATE. You can also just Google government apprenticeships and go through, and you can also ask Eric, because Eric will advertise any of the opportunities that we have at the Opera House coming up, and that includes events as well as apprenticeship opportunities. So if you want to find out more about the Opera House, we advertise any sort of free tours or talks or events through Eric. All you need is an interest in the role. We always say aptitude and attitude. It is a full-time job. It's not a college course. And we have a lot of applicants for one single role in each area. So you have to really want to do it. And you need to let us know that in your application. But we don't require you to have bundles of experience, just a real interest in learning and that was my timer went off. An interest in learning and like a real kind of curiosity. Um, Application tips for all apprenticeships. Make sure you research the company and understand the job role that you're applying for. Make sure you read the job specification. Don't just do a blanket application, and don't please use AI. We know. So we offer level 3 apprenticeships, 2 years paid national living wage, and we're recruiting a cohort at the moment. So there should be some opportunities appearing on Eric very shortly. As I said, these apprenticeships are everything from marketing to metalwork, costume making to collections management and technical and engineering. You could also apply for work experience opportunities with us, and those will be available advertised through Eric as well. You can find out more about creative careers on these websites, but also you could come and visit us and loads of other theatres on the 3rd of November 2025 when we're part of the Theatrecraft event, which is a free theatre careers event for everyone aged 16 to 25, and it has lots of free workshops, tours, and loads of colleges and employers are there to answer your questions. Okay, thank you very much. And please get in touch with any of your questions and I'll try and answer them.